this. Oh, yes. Okay. So I think we're recording now. Since we finally got it all set up, we can hear each other and see each other.
Good to see you.
Hey, this is so fun. We've texted each other. So Mary Amy, y'all, is in Manhattan?
No, I'm 45 minutes outside of Manhattan. I'm in a suburb.
You're in a suburb. Okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm in a suburb.
Good. So you're not like right there in the big city.
No, I get a chance to be in both worlds. So it's like, you know, the calming nature aspect of the suburbs and the parks, and then the city, you know, where it's really intense and everyone's got a lot going on.
Yeah. You know, I've only been to New York City once. I went with my daughter back in April. And she lives in Brooklyn, and she wanted to show me all the things. So we were very busy, you know, going to Manhattan for a day, and then Brooklyn for a day, and then Dumbo for a day. And so I got to see a lot of the different areas and on. And the one thing that I noticed, first of all, was that living here in the South, that people always, like I've always just thought New York was just a terrible place to go, like that everybody was going to be mean and not smiling and not, you know, like not talking to me. I didn't find that at all when I was there. Like everywhere I went, people were nice to me. I made friends, you know, just still today, like I still have some that I still talk to that I just met for that, you know, one like 15 minutes at a restaurant. We're still talking. You know.
Well, you're friendly too. I think that you have, you know, that influences people to kind of respond that way, because you're, you know, pretty upbeat, and you have like smiling, and you have the Southern appeal, you know, and you're a pretty girl. So, but also I believe that, you know, New Yorkers are just like, you know, any other location. I mean, it's just, they're open. They're not, you know, I mean, they're strong kind of, they seem serious and everything, and they're in this big rush, but they're just like everyone else. I love New York.
Yeah, I
great people.
Loved it. I want to go back. I just can't afford all the tolls. I'm still getting all these charges from the tolls. I'm like, oh, it's a scam, Mary. It's a scam. It is.
I don't know, but I believe in some scams. No, you know what it is? It's they've eliminated all the people. So now you just go underneath this, this metal overhang, and then it flashes and you get charged. But you know what's happening?
I'm saying it's a scam is because it wouldn't let me stop and pay.
Oh.
So now I'm getting in the mail all these things saying you didn't pay. So now there's a $50 charge on top of what it would have been like $4, you know, or whatever. Right. So that's the scam part, because I'm like, well, you didn't allow me to stop.
Right. That happened to me initially when the gates kind of came down where there weren't people there anymore.
Yeah.
And I started getting charged, but then you have to get an Easy Pass. But if you're not from around here, you're not carrying an Easy Pass. There's no place, nobody to pay. There's no one standing around it's not like in the good old days with the toll people. Right. There's nobody there. So, but no, I understand what you're saying. It's like, who wants to keep receiving bills? But
I'll fly next time. But one thing I did learn, I'm like really good at driving in New York, in the city. I just like stick my car into there. I'm like, I'm coming over. Like, I'm coming over. You're letting me in. And they did.
Right. You can't, you know it, you can't anticipate, you just have to do it. As long as you're really strong with your moves in Manhattan, you're fine. Because then if people aren't sure what you're going to do, if you're like a little, like when Mercury's in retrograde and people are like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And they're all, you can tell when Mercury's in retrograde, because people are just not so sure. Don't drive in Manhattan during Mercury in retrograde. But if you're like really, you know, really confident about your driving skills, you can drive in Manhattan. Like, I love driving in Manhattan. I've been driving in Manhattan my whole life. I love it.
Really I think if I had to do it every day, I'd probably be really skinny. I think the adrenaline, like, or something, because I was like, you know, I'm just so, it's like exciting to me, and I wouldn't even think to eat. But
well, you know what you do? You just park the car and then you do a lot of walking. You walk 20 blocks, 30 blocks here or there. So you know, I guess it's a great place to get into shape, Manhattan.
Yeah, my daughter walks everywhere now. She does have an electric scooter that she can use sometimes, but she said lately it's been raining so much. I mean, she's been taking the train, but yeah, a lot of walking for her because she lives right in well, Crown Heights. That area. So,
I'm not really familiar. I've done work in Brooklyn, but I'm not. It's so big, and it's a lot to kind of undertake when you go there. And usually for me, it takes 2 hours to get there sometimes because
yeah.
So I like to, I'll be in Manhattan and then go to Brooklyn, not drive there. So,
yeah. Well, next time I go, I'm flying and I'm going to come see you.
You're totally coming to see me.
Yeah.
We're going to hang out together. We were like soul sisters. You know, I was so grateful. We found each other. I want to say we found each other on Twitter. And then it was like, you know, it's instant for me now. When it's like someone's energy, their vibration, you know, we all carry a vibration. And like I say, you have high energy. You're like a higher vibrational being of light. And so whatever it was, I just feel like we're both truth seekers, and you are not afraid to speak your, you know, opinions and your beliefs, and neither am I. And so we kind of found this like instant friendship.
And at first it was kind of scary, like, because, you know, like there's not a whole lot of people around me in my everyday life that I can actually talk to. So that's how you reach out to social media, and then we find each other that way.
Right.
I'm sure that's probably what happened. We probably followed the same person and then probably commented, and I probably was like, oh, I like her comment. And then, it just kind of all connects.
We did. And, it was funny because we kind of messaged on Twitter or went back and forth. And then you watched one of my YouTube videos. And then we started having conversations, and then we had phone calls. So it was like, it wasn't all at once. It was a process, because you have to like get some kind of confidence and trust in the person. At least I do, but initially there's a spark. And so here we are having this conversation, and I'm in New York and you're in Georgia. And I don't know, I'll tell you one thing we don't have in common. You're just an amazing cook and chef, and I have zero skills in that area. And I will never admit, that I can do that kind of thing. And I've tried, but it's not my natural talent.
It's my favorite place to be. One of them. I like to be outside too, but I love to be in the kitchen. Like I'm always thinking about what I'm going to cook next.
I love that.
And I won't even be hungry. And I'm like, what can I do with this? Or what can I do? I've got some mushrooms. What am I going to do with those? It's just kind of crazy that I'm just constantly I made vegan egg salad yesterday with tofu just because I had a block of tofu. And I wasn't even hungry or anything. It's just in the fridge, but it's just fun. It's just
to me, it's work. It's scary. I get really nervous. I start, it's like anything I want to cook that I have to prepare, do a lot of preparation. I have to have the recipe there. Then I have to have a timer, and then I have to have all the ingredients. And it takes a long time for me to figure this out. I just don't know why. I mean, it's just not something that comes naturally.
It's not natural. So, yeah,
it's not natural, but I commend you. Hail to you. Hail to Angie that you can do this.
Well, when I was a little girl, I was always the one that had to clean clear the table and clean the kitchen every night. And we always had all these leftovers, big Southern family. And we always had all these leftovers. And so I would pretend that I was on a cooking show all the time. Like even just with the leftovers, being like, okay, and now this is how we, like I pretended there was a camera on me all the time, like while I was in the kitchen, even just like say browning ground beef for spaghetti when I was little. Like I would be like, I was on a show in my head, I was on a show. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
I always speak about, I am the prize, get your destiny. And we know when we're born, we have this beautiful glowing light in our hearts, and we, in our spirit, in our heart, we know. Yeah. Everything. We have a knowing, we know. And then we were crushed in this matrix. However, you sound like you from a child, you kept all of that, the beauty of what you loved. And so did you go on and have you, did you study cooking, or did you just go into it and did it all yourself? Like you didn't even go in and weren't schooled in it?
I wasn't schooled in it. I started, the pickle company back in 2008 during the recession. And And then, well, it's just the same recipe over and over and over for these pickles. It's all different vegetables, like okra is in one jar, carrots are in another, whatever, but it's the same recipe for each one. So that, that gets mundane. So then I started coming up with recipes to use these pickles in. And I was sharing that online, and people would say, oh, how did you make that? Or just sharing a picture of the meal with the pickles, or, and then it grew from there. I kept having to share recipes with people. And so now I have pepper jellies, I have barbecue sauces, a salsa, like a Mexican salsa, just things that I have cheese spreads that I just made up these things, and now they all have a label on them and they're in stores. So people would just say, and I used to give out these recipes. I'd say, you can make this yourself. And I would just give it out. And they're like, oh, I'd just rather buy it. Can you put a label on it and put it in the store for me? So that's kind of how that happened. And then the love for cooking I've always had. So it's just really fun for me. But
you're an entrepreneur. That's amazing. That is just like, you have a lot of personal power. You have a lot of personal power that you've really connected all the parts of you to bring this forward, because it's not only like you can have that ability to be an entrepreneur, like you can create an idea from nothing. So that's beautiful, right? When you create something from nothing, it's not like you were given a blueprint and then you not only did that, but then you actually became successful doing it all on your own. So that's like, good for you. Good for you. I hope you commend yourself and say that's wonderful. And so wait. So the pickles, so you started out with one product, a pickle?
Yes. So it was pickled beans, and then pickled green tomatoes, and then pickled okra. So kind of like, I don't know if you've ever had a Bloody Mary, but it's the kind of pickles that a lot of times they'll garnish those cocktails with. So a lot of the bars and restaurants around here actually serve my stuff in their Bloody Marys, and they do martinis with them. And so and then they're on charcuterie boards and cheese plates. And so I've kind of gotten them into the restaurants too, all over. And so I don't know, it's just been fun, but really going back to like my childhood, and what I really always wanted to do was not this at all. I don't even think of myself as an entrepreneur. My dream was always to be a journalist, like a real journalist, like a really telling the truth journalist. And so through the platform of my company, sharing every day, I would share Facebook or wherever I was sharing information about my company. I would try to also inspire people. So I'd try to always stay really positive and like, hope you're having a great day. God rolled out the red carpet for us today in Athens, just kind of things like that. But then along the way, we was kind of sharing some truth bombs along the way too. Like, did you know, like this is going on or whatever, But then the food company is where, what sustains us financially. Really? But wow. Really, I always wanted to be a journalist, and I never went to college. And I'm here in Athens, Georgia, where I think it's one of the best journalism schools, supposedly, in the nation. But I just live here. But I've always felt like I was a journalist. I used to, when I first started the company, I have a blog, and I would share stories about everyone else that I met through my company. Like, instead of talking about me or my products, I would share stories about the mom and pops that I was selling to, and their store and their story, and that kind of thing. And so it was like I was able to kind of investigate them, ask them questions about them, and then write those stories about these people. That's the most fun to me.
That's why you're really appealing too. I realize that you just speaking of that, because you are like the real people. You are appealing to them, and they feel like you're one of, you're speaking to them on, you're speaking to them like in a regular conversation, rather than, I don't know, just kind of coming from a different position. You're more or less just having a conversation. And so they feel like that's just your appeal too. I think it's like you have so much of this like light in you, so much of this positive energy in you. And like, I just, when you were talking, all I'm imagining is, you at like the country fair and you have your table and you see in the movies, the ladies are all there and they're all talking to each other. And so everyone feels like, oh, well, here she's offering us something that it's not from some faraway brand. It's like right here in our hometown or right here in the area. Right. So it's like you're someone that is, you feel like a confidence and trust in you automatically.
Oh, thank you. That's probably why I had such a good time in New York City. Like, there was no mean people there.
That's a made up story. That's like saying, there's like good people and bad people everywhere you go. Like, I don't want to say bad people, but people that aren't so happy. They're low vibrational. They're like, oh, everything's horrible. I say that all the time. Oh, it's like, no, look at how lucky. Let's have gratitude for this moment. How lucky we are to be here. Let's be in the present. Let's let go of all these belief systems that we were born with. We born into. Let's just be like grateful here we are, and let's just all come together and love each other. That's it. It's not that complicated.
So important,
like easy breezy.
That's why I love your YouTube channel so much. And you usually post at 11, and I know you said that your schedule's kind of maybe changing a little bit.
Right.
But I don't always get to catch it at 11. So a lot of times I will even fall asleep listening to you at night because there's so much dark, and I don't turn on the TV. I'm just like, oh, just listen to Mary Amy's voice. She's going to talk about something of the light. And then I just, go on peacefully and just, wake up in the morning having great dreams, and a lot of times prophetic dreams, I feel like, but
really?
yeah.
Good.
But I think it's really important for people too. Like, I used to watch Forensic Files every night in bed. Like, the show Forensic Files?
Of course.
I used to watch that, and now I can't even stand that show. Like, I can't, for over a year now, I haven't been able to watch it. It doesn't appeal to me at all. And it feels dark. So,
right. Like, I agree with you, and so it's like, so I too, I used to just pretend I was holding a microphone and I'd be like, hello, talking. And I did, I was in Manhattan for years, and I did print and I did acting and I did like, small things. But I just really never came out of my shell fully. I just always was, I don't know. It was like, I was always guarded. I had things happen to me that were kind of traumatic in my life. And so I became kind of, without realizing, parts of my soul had just kind of I broke apart, and so it was through, I guess a lot of healing work, healing work on myself and healing work with practitioners. And I came full circle, and I had to have these experiences over to get through them. I had to say, okay, you know what? I have an imprint on me of this trauma. I have to get through it. And so I've really awakened, and I speak about that on my channel, about how we awaken to another higher consciousness, to a higher vibration. We expand our awareness, and we're going to a new reality, a new way of, it's really a new mindset. That's what it is. You're not going anywhere. You're here in this physical reality, but you're having a different mindset, and your mindset is more in grace, in love, like unconditional love. And it starts with yourself and with others, and forgiveness. And it's not just like I say, oh yeah, light, but I really give an explanation of what exactly that means. And it's really about, it's about service to others, the path to service to others, and the law of one. And, I can't help myself. I have to do this. And so finally I came to a place. I've been doing videos for years, trying to figure out where I fit. And then all of a sudden, it's like a lot of, I guess, all of me kind of came back to whole. And I say a miracle. I say I've had miracles, and I definitely have.
One of your recent videos, you were talking about miracles. And
yes.
Yeah.
So miracles are divine intervention. And there's these celestial beings called angels that exist. We just can't see them because our eyes can only see 1% of this physical reality. And there are angels, and they guide us and they protect us, and they are here for humanity. And so maybe you'll hear something in your ear, a brush across your face, or a tingle on the top of your head, or maybe you sense that there's this very peaceful, calming energy around you and you can't place it.
Yeah, I was recently really upset about something that was going on. I was very upset and I was crying, and I was outside. I was up at the lake, and I remember just this sense of peace came over me, and all around I could see it. Look, I'm getting chills right now, even remembering it, but I could see beautiful, almost like glitter in the air all around me. And that had to have been something good.
Oh, it was good. It was definitely good. It was because they're made of light.
Yes.
And, it's funny, not funny, haha, but funny, like kind of mysterious, a little bit cryptic for me and mystical. I don't know. The more I speak of angels and the more I'm doing my lives, and I don't know. It seems to be that everything for me is just kind of lining up.
Yeah.
And I do believe you can ask for angels, you can ask for miracles, you can ask to be awakened. And, it's not about judgment. It's like this person's awakened, this person's not awakened. It's more like, come on, let's help them to become awakened if they choose to, if people choose to, because we all have an opportunity to make a decision. And we all have every day, pull down our driveway, we can go right or left. And every single decision we make matters, every single one. And there will be signs and messages. And you mentioned dreams. Every single night, if you ask before you go to sleep, please, let me remember my dreams in the morning. You will remember your dreams. Maybe if you don't remember your dreams automatically within 2 weeks, you should. In fact, I
say this 2-week thing. You say this a lot about like wanting something.
Manifesting, yes.
Yes, and you say 2 weeks a lot.
So. I know 2 weeks, for some reason, 2 weeks, it's not even, I don't know a lot of times why I'm saying things, because for a long time, I was talking about light. I was spinning light around people, and I didn't realize that I would spin it clockwise, counterclockwise, and I was visualizing this all around. And it was actually a Merkaba, which was an ancient light vehicle. And the Ascended Masters used a Merkaba, and we can all tune into a Merkaba. It's very healing, and it can help you, take you to other realms. So I didn't know this, and then all of a sudden I read, I've been talking about this, and it's a Merkaba. So it's some of the time, but the 2 weeks for me, I know that you can really sabotage yourself. You can say, and you're not someone to sabotage yourself. You're someone who takes initiative. You have a lot of personal power. But for those out there who don't have this confidence, that you don't realize, you might even don't realize how much confidence you have. The average Joe, Jane, whatever, they don't have that much confidence. Sometimes they've been like shut down. Either they've been had criticism over time. Maybe they had a critical parent or a teacher or an employer or relative, and they just said like, come on, you can't do that. Right. Or they said to themselves after a while, like, I'm just not good enough. I'm not worthy. We're all worthy. We're all worthy. It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter what job we have. It doesn't matter what stuff we have. We are all worthy. We're beings of light. We're sacred beings of light. And so I don't know, the 2 weeks, it just, for me, I know that if someone's manifesting something where they say, oh, I want that in my destiny. I want to reach that destiny, and they can see it. They can see it. And if they say to somebody, which you shouldn't tell anyone right away, because then that person, you might not realize they're going to ruin your dream. They're going to crush you down. In 4 weeks, you're not going to have that dream.
Yeah. I've had that happen to me a lot, actually. There are so many things that I haven't followed through with that I know I'm supposed to do, Okay. And, I had somebody ask me recently, like, why can't you just pick one thing? And I'm like, that was just very rude. Like, I went in the other room and cried. Like, I don't know why I can't just pick one thing. I don't want to just pick one thing,
Pick one thing, because I say, like, you hit one destiny, then you move on. You go to another destiny, because right? I mean, it's going to change after you get there. Then you say, oh, I'm here right now. Now, what do I want to do next?
Yeah.
So you can have as many things as you want. I say 5 humongous goals. And then when you get through those, probably have another 5 and another 5. I mean, we can live as long as we want. I say we can choose when we pass.
You say 104. Is that what you've said?
Oh yeah, I'm going to
remember right. You're living
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I'm living to 104. Because I already cheated death 3 times, 4 times. I don't know how many times. And so I'm living. I didn't think I was making it past 18. So I'm living to 104. That's my destiny. I know that.
I love it. I don't know when I'm leaving.
Up to you, entirely up to you. I mean, if they weren't trying to kill us in so many ways, between up there, what they're shooting around there and the foods and everything else, I mean, we probably would live like in the Bible, people live hundreds of years. We probably all would be living hundreds of years.
Right.
Because I
don't know what verse it is, but somewhere in the Bible I remember reading like, in the days of man shall be 120. It was like something like, so then they put like some limit on that. And I'm like, that always just did not sit well with me. Even as a child, when I came across that verse, I was like, I don't really believe that. I really didn't feel like that was even true, even though it was in the book,
Right.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember where that is, but it's in there.
So. Yeah, I'm not really familiar. I know like I know stories about Jesus. That's what I learned when I was a kid. I can't quote anything.
Me neither.
I can't. I mean, I've heard there's stories, Bible stories, but that's not my thing. But I am a God believer. It's all about God and me.
My crosses are right there on the wall. But yeah, I'm the same. I don't think we have to be able to quote scripture and to know that God is within us. And I wish that everyone would know that. I think that it would just make everyone whole if they could really know that they don't have to go seeking for God, that God is right here.
It's how you live your life too. I mean, it should be that everyone has their own opinion and everyone should have the freedom of that. Yeah. And I think, but let's all accept each other. Let's all love each other for everything, whoever they are. Because like I said, that's really unconditional love. If someone says they love you, but then they say, but don't do this, that's not really unconditional love. I'm not saying naughty things. I'm not saying if they're doing naughty things. If someone's doing something naughty, then, I'm not saying you don't love them, but you say, okay, well, maybe you're going to do that naughty stuff over there away from me, because, I just want to save as much as I can of this world, like nature, living things.
Yes.
And just kind of bring awareness, really. That's why I speak of the topics I speak about. I try to come from neutrality. Sometimes my opinion ekes out and I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm just kind of bringing, because I'm fascinated. I mean, I am fascinated with I'm watching some of these YouTube videos this morning and I'm like, whoa, like what is going on here?
You're telling me about one in a text message and I'm not exactly sure which one you're talking about. So was it something I shared? I don't know. But I'm like, yeah, there is a lot of that. It's like, at first, I'm like, even like the word reptilian.
Reptilian.
Like I used to think, no way.
Right.
Well, now I believe.
What's the other explanation? Because would humans treat other humans this way? That's what I think.
Right.
I say, what is going on here? Because, is that a soulless being? Is that a soulless entity? What is that? Now, I have to tell you that I have had communications with all kinds of extraterrestrials.
Really?
Yes.
I wanted to get to that because I know on your Twitter bio.
I'm telling you about it.
Yeah, or is that pronounce it right?
Can't keep my mouth shut. So you want to hear what that's all about?
I do. I'm fascinated because I believe it, and I'm like, I sleep, my bed is in a window and I'm like this. I mean, I fall asleep a lot of times just like looking out at the stars and just feeling like I want to go there, like that I've been there.
Probably have. You're from another star family.
Mm-hmm.
Like it started for me, you know, basically my curiosity. And so I was doing videos on Twitch and I was trying to build a following on there. And I had some of these mentor types that were healers as well. And they were talking about angelic channeling and they were talking about star seeds. And I said, what's that? Yeah. So then I started having guests that talked to me about UFOs. They knew about the secret space programs. They knew all about Bigfoot. They knew all about extraterrestrials. And so I started to get all of this data that was coming towards me, but I wasn't really swallowing it yet. I was all out here. And then, like I say, if you ask, you shall receive. So sure enough, I start to receive this information myself. And what I receive is, I'll say it. So now I've had a spiritual awakening, a Kundalini awakening. Now I knew when I was a kid that I was definitely empathic. I didn't know what that was. I knew that if I met you, I could read you and I could be whoever you wanted me to be. So I would become that person that I knew you would love. And so everyone I had a different kind of marry because that's all I knew. And then I guess it was 2012, I was doing reality show pitches and we had this cast of healers and mediums and psychics. And I said, the girl that was supposed to be the drama for the show turned out to be a witch. I said, there's no witch going to be on my show, on my reality show pitch. So I said, I'll be the drama. And I became the empath. And then I was around these people and all of a sudden, all of my skill set rose up and I started realizing I could do some of these things.
Wow.
And, yes. But we all have this within us. And I say that we can all master it. And that's what I talk about, mastering your clear senses. Everyone has a clear sense that they can master, and then the others will follow. So I started getting into this. And then by 2015, I decided to be a Reiki master. And then I became an ordained minister. When I became an ordained minister, prior to that, a few weeks, all of a sudden light became into my system. And that's when I had my Kundalini awakening. So move forward to now, which was, we'll say November 24th, 2021. For whatever reason, I have this awakening. I'm around some people that I've known. I don't know what stirred it up. I don't know if it was just talking about it, thinking about it. I don't know what it was. All of a sudden, I started, right before I would go to sleep or wake up, I'd have what's called light codes. I don't know if you've heard that terminology. It's your DNA coming online. So basically they were saying that we had 98% junk DNA and only 2% of our DNA was valuable. Come on, is God going to create humans and beings of light and only 2% of the DNA is going to be valuable? Heck no. So all of a sudden, more of me started coming on. Now, I could say these light codes, and I call them light codes because they're downloads. I don't know how to describe them. I would be about to wake up or about to go to sleep, and I would have my eyes closed. And in my vision, with my eyes closed, very clearly, and I don't have good vision, so go figure, I would see these extraterrestrials. It started out with little gray aliens. And they would be doing different kinds of they would be showing me things, or it would be very simplistic. So over time, basically, we're almost into a year. All these light codes, these downloads have become very intricate, very expanded, very dimensional. And it went from like little faces to being like a big face like ours, like showing up and them trying to communicate with me and sending me messages. So I've seen all kinds. I've seen blue ones, I've seen gray aliens, I've seen reptilians. They've come and threatened me, like shut up kind of thing, shut up. Like, they don't say that, but the energy is like, stop doing what you're doing.
You can feel that that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Right. And so you can sense it. And so it's like, at first, a year ago, I said, I'm crazy. Like, I really thought I was crazy. But then I speak to other people and they've had the same experiences. So I'm like, how can we both have? And I don't know. It's like I've seen insides of ships. Basically what I've gathered is, so it's just like humans. There's some good ones and there's some bad ones. Now, how they're showing me themselves, it's just like angels. This is what I'm seeing. Is that the reality? Well, that's my perspective. Can I say for sure? No, I can't say for sure. I don't believe things until I actually have it right in front of me. That's how I am. Now, I'm seeing this within myself, my mind, you know, the information's coming from another source and they're sending it to me. Now, was this already in me, in my DNA, and now it's being activated? Or is this information that's coming in at that very moment? I don't know. I do know that when I've called out to them, when I've gone into a meditative state, they usually visit within 24 hours. So they make themselves known. Now, I think they're just actually, to me, I'm not alarmed. None of it's scary. Okay, it's not scary. The reptilians, I'm like, I'm sending you light, go away. Yeah. I'm going to send you love. I think that it's to make me desensitized by the idea that they're scary. It's more or less to tell me when they do show themselves physically, I shouldn't be scared. Do I think they're going to be coming out on my lawn one day? Yes.
You do.
I do. I don't know. I think I'm going to meet them in person eventually. I think the whole thing, because that's just the next thing. That's what happens to me. I start to talk about something and then it comes into my life.
Yeah, that's none of these things, but other kinds of things happen with me like that. I'll just start looking into it or studying it and then talking about it. And then I'll see it in my dreams a lot of times. Or if I just start telling what my dream was,
right,
then I'll start seeing that my dream was prophetic. It was something that
is going to happen.
Yeah, it's in the news, you know. Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, that's why one of the reasons why we're chatting is because some people would be like, all right, click off, turn off this conversation when I got down that road. I mean, being more specific, I could say I've had visuals where I've seen not just one, I've seen many. Now, it's not like it's a flat surface. It's not a photograph. It's actually, it's dimensional and they're blinking. What I've had visitations where, or encounters, I would say, when this has happened, where they're talking, like very few of them. There's only been a few that there's actually sound. It's all, they're all sending me messages mind to mind, which is what I talk about on my show too, is telepathy. And so is that possible? Absolutely. It's a charged impulse. It's our feelings and our emotions, and they're coming through. Now, do I go back and respond to them? I haven't. Presently, I really haven't figured out how to do that. So they're sending me information, but I can't be a sender back. I can receive the information. I haven't learned how to send the information back. However, I do believe that they are having a knowing about my thoughts to a degree. They're very advanced. So this is all so beyond our grasp in a lot of ways, because we think, oh, this is sci-fi, or this is, I don't know what people think, it's crazy, but it's just that we're just not advanced enough to understand it. They come from a place of peace. The ones that I've met have. Now, the reptilians, the ones that they say, some of them are running the country, running the globe, the elitists, whatever you want to say, or clones of them, or an AI. You know, there's a lot of theories. I don't know the answer. I can guess, because it just seems like they're soulless. However, they're leaving. They're going. They're not allowed to stay anymore, because this new earth is coming into play. It's all love and light. And I can see that in the spiritual realm. I can see that in the angelic realm. It just hasn't manifested physically yet, but it's on the way out. You know that, right?
Yes, I do know that. One of my dreams, which is not probably maybe 2 months ago, was that I was walking somewhere and everything was gray, like everything all around me. It was like I was walking into like a black and white movie, you know, everything was gray and black. And then as I walked, like as I took steps, the ground became colorful and it turned into, it was almost like everything was rocks, like rocks. stones everywhere. And then all of a sudden the stones took shape and they became colorful animals, like animals and beautiful buildings and beautiful animals, just like cartoon, more vivid than that, even just amazing. All like everywhere I stepped, like as I walked, everything came to life. I don't know.
That's a premonition.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? So I've said, so star seeds are, we've come to awaken the masses. We're the 144,000, they say. And so we're here, and light workers and ascended masters, but star seeds come from other stars. And so there are, I had Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans visit me, among others, and Greys. The Greys weren't, they say the Greys are not so nice, but for whatever reason, I really resonates a Pleiadian. So maybe you're a Pleiadian too. And that's why we have this connection, because most of my friends are actually Pleiadians. So I'm saying, like, what I'm saying is that might be what it is. There's something about you that is, so what I'm getting from you is, I'm getting that it's like, what I can say is, okay, this would, you would identify with this. When you have something that's sizzling in the bottom of a pan, and so there's sparks coming up, like when you put maybe oil or butter and it goes sizzles. I sense that inside of you, I sense that you have that, and it's light that's sparking up. And some of the light sparks all the way out of you, and some of it stays within you, but it's always there. And it's like, it gets bigger and bigger and then comes down. It's like a flame. That's what you have going on inside of you.
That's really pretty. Yeah, it's hard because, whenever there's so much that I'm so excited to share, and to have, some people around me, I just, they won't listen. And they don't want to hear, and it just really triggers them. And so it's hard. I have my daughter. She's awesome. She's the 16-year-old that's still at home with me. And she is just right there with me, just fascinated and excited, So I look forward to picking her up from school every day and just sharing.
Right. Well, it can be really lonely when you don't have access to like other like-minded people within your home life, your community, or, and maybe you have a few friends that get you, and it's very difficult, but it's going to change. I truly believe that we're just ahead of everything. That's all it is. We're just ahead. And so you can't see the light, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, that this difficult situation will improve beyond your vision. Like I say, light on the horizon, I see through a window. And so I see this sunrise. And so, I too have a daughter that is very much, she's intuitive as well. And so we are both in situations, because here I am in New York. So it's not that accommodating to some of my opinions, I guess you want to say, or my beliefs. But you know what? That's okay. Like you put boundaries around yourself, and anyone that comes in, you have to give permission. If you ask, you will start to have more people that come through to you. And, it makes you stronger though, too, when you don't have like a whole group of people that you can depend on. Because when you're independent, you start to be more strong. And it's so difficult to go into a group of people with a new idea, because then they all want to give their opinion, and then it crushes you. So right now, as you're growing, like you're this garden that's growing, right? You're this beautiful flower that's blossoming. You're probably it's probably better in some ways that you're not having someone, push their stuff on you. Ever think of that?
Yeah.
You're Angie, come on. You're doing fine. I'm on Twitter, and you've got like all this liking going on. And I know it's like Twitter is this social media, and we don't see these people in person, but they get you. Some of these people really get you.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like emails right now too, just from people that are seeing me on some of the videos I've done with other people. And they're like, oh, I just wanted to let you know, I would love to meet you. Like we are on the same wavelength. I'm like, oh my gosh. So there are people all around. We just don't realize it, they're afraid to speak out. And that's what I'm finding. I've got a whole lot of other women that don't necessarily live right here in Athens, but they're nearby that I'm planning on getting together with. It's exciting,
Well, you're a leader. You don't realize you're a leader. You're a leader. So it's like it comes easy to you to speak out. I know more and more you're speaking out a little bit more all the time. And some people just, they're scared. It's fear, that we get into a place and it blocks us from really getting everything we want and our desires. So maybe you give them a chance to kind of have more courage and be more brave, because you are.
Yeah. Let me think if there's anything else. There's so much I've been wanting to talk to you about, but I could talk to you like every day for hours.
Oh, come on. You be tired of talking to me. No, you're funny. You're so funny. Talk to me. No, but you know what? So when right away when you got on the phone with me, I was like, oh my God, I love her. I love her. She's awesome. Because I know right away, because it's slim pickings for me. Yeah. It's really slim pickings because I don't have, and I've always lived this way. I've kind of always lived on the outside and looked in, and that's okay. Like I like that, because like I do my own thing. I was an artist and I was an actress, and now I don't know. I'm just trying to help and heal. That's all, about bringing light into people's lives, and so you obviously have awakened as well. So let me ask you a few questions. Forget about asking me. I want to ask you. Okay. So when did you all of a sudden it dawned on you that you said, I'm going to kind of go, send my energy in a different direction and not kind of follow everyone else? When did that happen for you?
Well, just doing the business, the day-to-day, the business. And then there was this election. It was this, and so the 2020 year, and also before that, say probably from 2016 on, just going, why is everybody, like, people are holding these signs and there's all this rioting and I could see that it was all made up stuff, just made up things, but it was like nobody around me could see that it was all made up, that none of these people were actually mad at each other. Like, I don't know, I could just see it. And so the TV would be on, it'd be on the news or something. And people in the house with me, they're like, oh, that's just awful, and I walk by and go, it's hysterical. This is all fake. Like, I could just see it, and then, they're like looking at me like, you can just see. Yeah. So that started happening to me. And then I started learning, doing research, and I started somewhere I went down a rabbit hole about fluoride, and I started changing my toothpaste and drinking different water and meditating. And I had to remove myself and put myself in a different room so that I could have some quiet space to myself and close the door and just sit with my own thoughts. And I just started having the crazy vivid dreams, the lucid dreams, and seeing things that were going to happen. And I would tell people around me all the time, I'm like, you won't believe this dream I had. I have a feeling that I don't know what this means, but something's exciting. Something is changing. The world is changing. Yeah. And, their eyes would roll at me, whatever. It's just a dream. You got crazy dreams. What were you on last night? Whatever. Melatonin. But
that's not nice. You know what though? See, what's so funny is, to me, like, everything you say resonates with me, and I say, yep, maybe. And then I say, like, can you get a load? Like, I do the same thing. I'm like, can you get a load of what this is? And everyone's, oh, and then they're taking it serious. I'm like, this is television. This is the news. Everything is, it's the marketed to you. They're trying to sell you stuff. Plus, They want to control you. And so I like, to me, I just think like it's kind of not hysterical, but it's like, I can't believe that they're not thinking from a place of like an aerial position and looking down and saying, okay, this is not true, or this is so far-fetched. And you know what, when you say everything, it's like they're just dividing everybody. And that's how you divide people. You know, if you turn people against each other, that's how you control them.
That's right.
When there's unity, right? I mean, because I have to tell you, and I'll tell you this how I know. I grew up in a family and there was no unity. It was like they pinned everybody against each other, and so then they could control you. If we all were like loving on each other and having unity, then we would have been stronger. And that's just what they're doing right now. So I understand. And you,
perfect analogy.
Pardon me?
That was a perfect analogy with the family. And then
yeah, and it's like they divide and conquer. That's like, hello, divide and conquer. That's what all they're doing. But it is going to shift, and it is going to change. And I don't like, people sometimes say, oh, well, they said this about so-and-so because they didn't agree, or, you know what I'm saying? I say, I don't care what their opinions were. I don't care if they said, you know, I wish you would die to me or whatever, something mean. I just send love, because anyone who's talking like that, who's a human being, is in pain.
Yeah. So
I give them a pass 1,000,000%. I love everyone no matter what. I don't care. Like if they're hurt, they're hurt. People who are being mean are hurt. Yeah. They're injured. They maybe had a bad childhood. Maybe someone hurt them. So they have so much pain. They're suffering. So I just send them love. I'm not saying I want to hang out with them 24/7, but because I don't think we'd agree. It would just be a big debate. I don't want to debate.
No.
So I think that's amazing. So you were awakened, and you do meditation. And so what are your clear senses? You obviously have premonition dreams. Do you ever get from an outside source remote viewing? Do you ever have someone else's dreams? Are you ever hearing any sounds like clairaudience coming through when you have these lucid dreams? So what are you seeing visually? You're seeing, like, you had the dream about the nature, which is, I believe that's the new earth. What else? This is fascinating to me.
Like one night I dreamed that, you know, I have the Ring camera. I live out in the country, long driveway, and have a Ring camera so I can see who comes and goes. And I had a dream that I saw a white horse coming up my driveway. And then the next night I dreamed that, like, I saw it on the camera, like on like the notification on my phone, like, oh, my Ring cameras went off, and I look and it's a white horse coming up my driveway. And then the next night I dreamed same thing, but it was a white unicorn with wings. Wow. And it went, I'm pointing this way because that's my front window, but it like was walking down my driveway, and then it flew like away, like just flew. It was beautiful. I don't know what that means. But so I try to look those things up. I'm like, what does it mean when you dream about a white horse? What does it dream about when you dream about a flying white unicorn? Whatever. And I don't remember what I found. Maybe I didn't find anything. But
I think it has to do with your inner consciousness and reaching your truest self. And so maybe the horse was coming, because a white horse is what is it? It's nobility. I think it's a sign of good fortune. And then the fact that it was the next night, correct?
Yeah.
And then you had the unicorn. It was more like the horse think of it this way. The horse is in our physical reality. We can see a white horse, right?
Right.
So that's your physical reality, this reality. And then the unicorn is actually a representation of spiritual. It's a representation of another realm. And so then it took off. So I think it's really you more, evolving.
Right. That's what makes sense to me. It feels like,
I think it's evolving. You are evolving. And it's true, though. You are evolving.
We all are. We all should be.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I want to evolve. I want to go on one of those spaceships and go like my friends say, and my one daughter's like, I'm not going. And I said, why not? I'm going to go. And I said, if they land or if they come by and they say, come on up, I'd be like, take me, I'm coming. I'm not scared. I mean, this is the next experience, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not afraid either. So
Maybe I'll see you on the ship.
They're like, hey, girl.
We'll be with the Palladians.
I'm always joking about that anyway. Like, we'll be at a stop or red light or something, and I'm like, running late, getting my daughter to school, and I'm like, Holly, one day I'll just be able to push a button, the car will just fly up and fly over that cow pasture, and whatever. Like, we'd be there in a second. She's like, well, why would we go to school? I'm like, well, you're right. That place. So, but yeah, I mean, we're going to be flying. I mean, I think we can. I used to have dreams that I was flying.
Yeah, so did I when I was a kid. Well, you know what? As we go to telepathy school, because that's what we're doing, we're going to go to telepathy school and earth school. And so we're going to dispense with getting this book, studying the information, spitting it back out, because that's all it is. You're memorizing, and whose stuff is that and where did it come from? Because now I don't believe anything. I really don't believe a lot of this, because they're talking about, they've been talking about a reset. And so they're going to reset a new civilization, and they're going to take and so they're going to replace our civilization with something else. And then what, in the history books, there'll never have been all of this that's happened for the last 100 years,
right?
Because they've done it before. I mean, there's these lost civilizations. So
I'm fascinated with that, like the Tartaria,
where they had free energy, and they spoke telepathy. There was giants. I mean, that's how a lot of these buildings were built.
I see it everywhere. And when I was in New York, I was fascinated. I went to one of the cathedrals, and it's just huge. It goes on and on and on and on and on forever. And just thinking about all that and different buildings in Brooklyn, and I don't know what all of them are called. I took a bunch of pictures, but there was one that used to have a huge bell hanging. I think the bell.
That was the other thing. In Tartaria, you look at pictures and they had thousands upon thousands of bells, because they were using the ether, which the ether is between our atmosphere and, like they say, the heavens, the air. Apparently that has some kind of power and energy, like Tesla talking about that, Nikola Tesla. And they used water. They used all like nature, right? There's not just 4 elements, there's 5. There's air, wind, fire, water, and ether. And so they've hidden all that because it didn't benefit. They were all about like making money, pushing everybody aside, get to the front of the line, step on someone's head. Not like, let's have peace and let's take care of each other and just love each other. Like, who wants to be born and not have fun? Like, where's the fun? Let's have some fun. That should be a topic. Fun, fun, fun. Let's have fun. Like, life is, I'm going to live to 104, so it's not that short. However, like, let's have some fun, right?
Yeah, totally. The other thing that I studied, so it did the fluoride thing, that got me going. And then somehow I came across some video somewhere about time travel. And then I got the book, you seen the, I wish I had it sitting here. What's it called? It's like the book about Barron Trump and his wild adventure, his underground adventure.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
What is that? A children's book? Barron Trump. What are they saying about poor Barron Trump? They pull him into everything.
I know, but it's a historic. It was written in the 1800s, and it has addresses in it from.
What? I gotta skip this. You have to text me the info on that book.
Yes, yeah.
I did read about time travel, and I read about teleportation and time machines and the Looking Glass technology. Do you know about Looking Glass technology?
Yes, I do.
And the Stargate. And what was it? There's the yellow cube.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all of these things, but
okay. So you're nodding, so I was like, "Oh, she's in."
Yeah, I'm fascinated by it all.
So the Looking Glass technology is allegedly this. It's like a time travel machine, and it was through you know, the extraterrestrials, and it was reverse technology. It was something of theirs apparently. And we used it, and we saw the different timelines that were, you know, there was two timelines. There was a good one and there was the bad one. The good one was going to be, I'm saying our good one.
Our good one.
Our good one was that we were going to go in, we were going to reach a higher consciousness, and we were going to have a new mindset, a new reality, and it was going to be heaven on earth. And then the bad timeline was it was going to go down a dark path, and it was going to be just I don't know, combination of, you know, terminating us, you know, terminating humans and taking over the world and have world domination, one world.
Right.
And so this looking glass technology, they played around with so much, those in power, that they messed it up and then they shut it down. Like they played around with basically cause and effect. So they were trying to change outcomes so that they would have their outcome. So then they finally broke it, apparently, or something. I don't know. This is all obviously a legend. and so then you know, there's that. And then there's the concept that there's this AI, you know, this AI that is artificial intelligence that is in charge of everything from another galaxy, and has had mind control. And anyway, so the time travel and the teleportation and the idea of levitation, like you spoke about levitation, it's all really about working on your skill set, like your abilities, which we really haven't. And so that's why there's very few people that have mastered this, but it's just give it some time. 10 years of everyone doing this and focusing on telepathy and they're working their minds in a different way, not having critical thinking, critical reasoning. I'm sure that we'll catch up like this to all these highly advanced.
I actually believe I have a memory, not just a dream, but like a memory of just doing this and just showing people, like, see, you can do it too. Like you just do this. And then I would levitate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's possible.
I have a memory of it. Like always had this memory. Like
I have a memory that I actually had wings like an angel and I moving up and I could move them.
Yeah.
Like I literally felt it within me, and I have the memory of flying straight up. I have the memory of
this was straight up, like I was going straight up.
Yeah. And yeah, it's and I also have, you know, it's funny that you're talking about this. You know, I'm a churchgoer, so I would go to church and I would pray. And so I've had dreams with the Virgin Mary. I had something related to the Holy Spirit, but I also had a moment that I felt God touched. I haven't really spoken about this. God touched my soul and I felt him touch my soul. And so then after that, for a few weeks, I kept, without moving my hands, I could feel the spot where my soul was, like where it starts. And then I had like a dream about it, about what my soul looked like.
Wow.
And so my soul was much longer than my whole body because it's from another incarnation. I know.
Oh, I love it. Like a year ago, I did not believe in reincarnation, and now I totally do. You know, I mean, it's amazing how, you know, like just what we were taught, what we were.
Did you ever have remember any past lives you remember? Let's get to past lives. Before we go. Do you remember any past lives?
I know, but I had my husband and I went into this house that was for sale. It was all overgrown. You could never, we'd ride by it all the time. I didn't even know a house was there. It was just completely covered in vines but then it was a for sale sign. So we drove up. He used to be a builder, so he'd always look for lots and all to build on here in town. And we drive up and I'm like, oh, there's a house. And this was just right around the corner from where we used to live. And we went in through this back door. It was a screen porch. We went in, and before we even got inside, I said, oh, there is a table that folds down from the wall in this little kitchen here. It's a little tiny kitchen, and there's a table that folds down, like those beds that go into closets. There was a table.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Tables like that, and there was. And then as we kept walking on through, I said, oh my gosh, you're just gonna, there is a bathroom. The bathroom in the main bedroom is pink, pink, pink. Everything's pink. We went in there. This house had been abandoned for I don't know how many years. The bathroom had like the pink, carpet on the floor around the toilet. The toilet seat was covered with a pink, one of those, like covers. Yeah. Pink towels were still stacked up on the shelf, like behind the toilet, one of those. Yeah. Pink shower curtain. Everything was pink. And I was just like, I don't know how I know that. I've never been here before. And then I said, oh, and I remember that I was here and there was people playing musical instruments on the porch, on the front porch. And my husband said, well, when we drive up, there is no front porch, Angie. There's no front porch. We opened this front door while we're inside and the porch had fallen down. So yes, there used to be an old front porch there. That house, the property got sold and now there's a new house on it. But I mean, I think about it every time I ride by there. I'm like, how did I know that? How did I know all that stuff? So,
what do you attribute to? Was it a past life that you actually went to that house? Or do you think that you actually have a sense of, you can see it's a memory?
Yes, it's a memory. It doesn't feel like I lived there. It feels like I went there for an event.
So it's a memory.
Memory.
Past life. It's a memory from past life, right?
Yes. I believe it is.
I believe you too. I mean, that sounds like it's very accurate. So yeah. It's like, I mean, like I say, with a lot of this kind of in this area, in this field, you say, oh, well, there's no proof. There's no way for you to know if it's true or not. However, you kind of proved it because you said one of this bathroom is going to be all pink. There is a porch. So so that's true. So you were actually there at another time.
Yep.
You were incarnated, you're another past life. That's interesting. Maybe more of that will come. How long ago was that?
Oh gosh, let's see. Probably about 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. And I've had things happen where like my daughter once saw like a light above my head when we were talking about a situation, a really important subject together, and she was upset and we were just confiding in each other, and she's like, Mom, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. Why? And she says, there's this light. And I said, also, I feel like I'm about 6 inches off the floor. Like I could feel like energy between my feet and the floor.
Wow.
I don't know what that is, but
did you levitate?
Huh?
Did you levitate?
I don't know. She said I was doing something. I mean, she was 14 years old.
All right, we're done now with this phone call. You know what? It's the next step. Angie, we don't know where you're going to, you know what? I want to just know about the cooking.
But anyway, it's just really cool. So I've heard people just that I don't even know, just random people will see my grandmother around me and they'll know her name, and I'm like, yeah, that was her name. I'm just talking to them about pickles, just out of town, at the beach, at the bar.
I love it.
And
that was my favorite food when I was a kid.
No way. I'll have to send you some. Yeah.
That's my favorite food, 1,000,000%. We definitely knew each other before.
Yeah.
We definitely know each other because it's like your energy to me is so familiar. Like, how when you first meet someone and let's say you don't have this kind of connection, right? And everything is very, I don't want to say guarded, but you're like thinking what you're saying, do you know what I'm saying? You have like it's like a little bit of a maze to have the conversation because You don't know what's going to be okay. You don't know what to say. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're very aware.
A bit when you were like, what are we going to talk about? I was thinking
like you're very aware. But with you, it just feels like it's just very fluid. We just have like because I'm not worried about you. You know, I'm not worried about that you will accept me, because I sense that we accept each other. And I would love pickles, by the way.
Okay, good.
No, I mean, that was my thing. It was all about pickles, like every kind of pickles there was. I'm very curious to know your pickle flavor. So do you have different pickle flavors?
They're all dill, a little garlicky, but I use like fresh dill and a little spice. So
that's yummy. Mm-hmm. Wow. You know, when we meet in person, you're definitely going to have to show me like a recipe to cook. Maybe you can start by giving me like an idea about something easy I should try cooking.
Okay. Do you like fish?
I love fish.
You do just fish and grits. Grits is a Southern thing. Do you ever eat grits?
I'll eat, that's potatoes, right?
No, it's like.
Was it oatmeal? What is that?
I think I'm going to send you some grits.
What is a grit?
It's like corn. It's like ground up corn.
Oh, corn. Okay. It's all about pizza here. Everybody take out pizza all the time. All about pizza.
Every house in the South has grits, and you know, you serve them with butter or cheese and butter. But I like them with like with butter and then like Cajun seasoning. And then like blackened fish, like a good Creole kind of dish. It's real easy.
So do you have a garden as well?
Yes, I do.
You do? What's in your garden?
Right now, tomatoes are on their way out. Lots of different peppers. I like to do stuffed poblano peppers and banana peppers. I've got hot peppers, all kinds. Okra. Do you eat okra?
I don't know if I've ever had okra.
Okay, so you gotta have an okra pickle. But okra, what else is out there? Squash. But everything's kind of on the way out. The peppers are shining right now, but it's about time to do like fall stuff. So we've got to dig all that up. And
oh my goodness. Do you have a cookbook?
No.
You have to have a cookbook, right?
I had a book agent come to me a couple of years ago.
Yeah, where'd they go?
2020. Something happened, you know, like, but then she wanted me to write a cookbook, but she was telling me how she wanted me to write it. And so that was kind of tough for me. Like I couldn't. So, I mean, it's still kind of in the works. It's something.
Yeah, you should do that. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because I'll tell you why. Because it's a takeaway. And, you know, like here I am talking to you, right? And I know that everyone else is also going to be interested in this, because we all need to eat food and we all love good food. And so here you are, and you are very authentic, and it's your stuff. It's like stuff that you've created. And so I want something that I can look at and I can use. Like I need this cookbook. And I don't know. I just think that that's direction. Definitely you should pursue that.
I have all my recipes. I know.
It's easy for you. It would be easy for you to have a cookbook because you just do it. It's a hard thing for you to do, right?
Right.
You're doing it anyway, so you might as well.
Can I just pick one thing, Mary?
No, but you just do the cookbook and then you do the other 5 million things.
Right.
But it probably is on the list, right?
It is on the list. I've already started it.
You could have a series of cookbooks. It could be the first one. And then I could say, remember, I'm going to say to you that you in like 5 years will be like, Angie, remember your first cookbook we talked about on that Zoom? Remember
I have a title already.
You have a title?
Southern Charm with a Side of Pickles. And it's already I've already
do that cookbook, Angie. Do
it.
You're going to do it. You're going to do this cookbook. You are. And then you're going to do all the other things you want to do, because you're going to live to 104 like I am. And we're going to hang out together.
Okay. Get back on our ship together.
That's right. Well, it'll make us youthful. I'll say, okay, I'll travel with you, but make me younger. So when I look 104, when I'm 104, I really don't look 104.
Right. I don't want to look 104.
I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. And who's going to be around?
Yeah. All the fun people, all the fun people.
All the fun people will be left, all the Palladian. No, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people around. So
this was so much fun. I have to leave in a few minutes to go get my daughter from school, but
yeah, this was lovely.
So much fun. I loved it. I've been so excited. I like all the way to school this morning. I was like, you know what today is? Mary Amy's coming. You're coming. Like
I know I've been really excited too, just because like I get emotional. Like I just feel like you inspire me. I feel as though
you inspire me.
You, pardon me?
You inspire me.
No, I mean, you're just very supportive and you have such a big heart. And that's probably what it is. It's like, I tune into your heart and it's just like, there's so much joy and it's very, you're not like, there's no criticism. There's no critical. It's just more like, you know, beautiful ocean. It's just waves and like, you know, sun shining. That's who you are. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really grateful for this moment. I really am.
Me too. Very grateful.
Okay.
I'll try to stop this recording so we can, this is my first. So this was my first time doing this and it said it recorded. So we'll see. We'll see, right?
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to share this with everybody because I think that your story is going to bless so many people and, you know, and just having the little chatter that we do in between.
Yeah. I mean, I feel as though, you know, what's great what we do. Are you stopping it? Are we going to still be on? Can you stop?
We're still on for a second. We're still on for a second. But anyway, I just know that this is going to be something that I think people are really going to enjoy and they're going to leave feeling good.
I feel as though we have like a nice like banter where it's like not, it's balanced is what I'm trying to say. It's balanced. Like you're a sweetheart. Love you, Angela.
I love you too. All right.
Love you. All right. So I can't wait to see it. Let me know when you're going to post it.
Too.
Bye.